now we're gonna address, some of the themes that are within the movie. Just some things that, I guess they're not really underlying. They're really more some of the things that are within the book. So those are the things I'm gonna address now. First thing, the 90-day rule. The 90-day rule basically says that if you're interested in a man, make him wait 90 days before you give up the ass, is essentially what it is. The way Steve Harvey brings it up is saying when you have a job, you have 90 days as a probationary period before you are given benefits. And he uses that as, a way to apply that to relationships. Personally, I think the rule is bullshit just because I'm the type of guy where if I get the ass the first day, or whether I get it 6 years from now, it doesn't matter to me. It's just, sex is just one of those things that happens. It's a convention of a relationship. It's a convention of humans, period. I know of guys who have waited, 5 years to smash some girl, and as soon as they smash, they ain't even talk to them no more. And I mean, it's just one of those things that happens. Also, if you want to give somebody some ass, that's perfectly well within the reason to do that. That's your body. Letting someone tell you who you can and cannot fuck doesn't make any sense at all. But I understand his theory behind it. I just feel like it's a little flawed because every man isn't the same. Every man isn't going to judge you because you decided to have sex. All right, and let's talk about standards. Another thing that people like to bring up as far as the themes go is Taraji P. Henson's character. She's a well-to-do executive, and she feels like she should have her equal. She doesn't want to, what she considers standards are, a man who has a nice car, has a nice house, has a well-paying job, and is basically doing the same amount of work that she's doing. She felt like she was wondering why she had to lower her standards in order to find a man. I don't feel like you should lower your standards. I just think you have to reevaluate what your standards really are. I feel like a lot of people have so-called standards, and the standards are really just things they want and not necessarily things they need. I remember I did a list of 30 qualities my wife will possess, and one of the things on there was knowing how to cook. And if I'm going to have a wife and a mother of my children one day, she needs to know how to prepare meals for them. As I got older, I realized that one, I love to cook, and I don't mind cooking, especially for other people. So it became one of those things that were on the list of standards I had, but it's really not something I need. It's just something that I wanted. You have to really focus on what things you really need, and that's what makes things so difficult, because a lot of people don't know what they need. It's just one of those things that comes along with experience of being with somebody. Another thing about lowering standards is don't give up something you need just to have someone. And no one did this in the film per se, but it's something else that I see brought up. Don't be with someone who's going to abuse you or someone who's going to take advantage of you just to say that you have someone, because that is just going to lead to a destructive relationship. And it's one of those things that, again, it's one of those things you don't really know about until you're in that situation, but it's still something to always keep in mind. Don't settle. I think instead of settling, we should say analyze your standards. Think about what it is that you really need out of a relationship and then go out and get that. Something else I liked in the film that, like I said, was a very pleasant surprise is the fact that the men had to step up. Because I think a lot of times women look at this whole thing like a man, act like a lady thing as the things they have to do to get a man. And what you're really doing is you're taking a realistic look at the things that you need and the things that you're willing to do. And I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with setting up a game plan, I guess. And I say that because everyone has things that they want out of someone. And at the same time, there are things that you need from the person that you want to be with. It wasn't all about the women not, coming down to our level. And I think that's what happens a lot when it comes to relationships, or at least that's how it's portrayed. It's like the women are up here waiting for us to catch up. And sometimes that is the case. A lot of times that's the case. I like that it wasn't that women were just coming down to our level. It's that they were helping raise us to be where we needed to be. This was most evident in the Gabrielle Union relationship. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's Turtle from Entourage. They had a relationship, and he was basically, hanging out with his boys all the time. He had been in the same job for like 6 years or something. And, you know, he wasn't stepping up. And it wasn't that they were struggling. It wasn't that, you know, they were living in a poorhouse. He was complacent. And complacency will kill a relationship faster than almost anything other than probably insecurity. And that's what I like most about that relationship. It was just that he had become complacent with the way things are. He was happy not being all that he could be. And that's a dangerous precedent to get into. If you don't want more, how can you expect your loved one to want more for you? You know, and of course at the end of the movie, you know, he steps up and, you know, he gets this high paying job that he should have had, you know, a while back. But and the same thing with Michael Ealy's character. He was a dreamer. I relate a lot to his character. Not because I'm light skinned and have blue eyes, obviously, but just because, you know, he's a dreamer, and up until, you know, the start of the film, he really didn't know what he wanted to do. He set on being a chef, and that led to a dream of, you know, one day opening up his own restaurant. And it was dope how Taraji P. Henson's character really supported his dream at first, and, you know, she thought he was this, you know, super amazing executive chef when he was really just working at a regular restaurant. And at first she supported him completely. She was just like, you know, you can do it, you know. And it was like a really beautiful moment for them to have known each other just a couple of days, and already she was super supportive. What was crazy was when she found out that he was just a regular chef, all of a sudden his dream was a pipe dream. And that's something really dangerous that we do to each other. Don't knock down someone else's dreams because you don't agree with them. That's their dream because it's what their vision is. I think the whole thing as far as stepping up, as far as men go, is we need that support system to tell us that, you know, we're doing a good job, and we need someone telling us we can do it. And, you know, we don't get that a lot, or at least we don't get it enough, it seems. I feel like that's a lot of the time, that's why men are scared to go out for, you know, go for their dreams or whatever. The other thing that I liked in the movie was there's always this war going on between men and women. It's like we're always bashing each other and always, you know, coming at each other's head. And the turning point in the movie, at least for me, was when the guys are hanging out. Everything's, you know, like in every other romantic comedy, things are going awry, and they're all kind of figuring out what they're going to do next. And Gary Owen basically makes this comment where he says he has to leave because it's his night to make dinner. And of course, everyone giving him a hard time. It's like, you know, you gotta run home because you know your wife will get in that ass if you don't. And he basically stopped and he was like, yo, y'all chill. I'm going home because I want to make dinner, not because my wife is making me. He's like, I love her, and that's what you do when you're married to someone. You know, you step up and do things for the people you love. And then he left. And of course, at that point, that's when every man realized, okay, I fucked up. I need to get, you know, my girl back. It's one of those things that we as men, we tend to. It's almost like it's a guy thing to not like doing things for your wife, but you do them anyway. I think that was a major shift in the film, just because a lot of times one is the leader, one is the follower, and you know, relationships shouldn't have to be that way. You should be able to just do whatever it takes to make your relationship work. And I think that was the dope part of the film. It was really the first time that, you know, relationships weren't looked at as a game. That's going to conclude episode 8 of Soapbox Sunday. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anytime you need to hit me up, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Skype. All that's in the description box below. Episode 9 will be up next Saturday. I don't know what it's going to be about yet, but I promise it'll be good. Or at least I hope it'll be good. I hope you guys watch. And all that good stuff. In the meantime, see you all next week.